Hello everyone, welcome to Timeless Flux. Today we're going to have a pick a card reading on should I leave this situation, with extra cards for how and why. Okay, my name is Sabine. If you're new to pick a card readings, please remember these are general readings, so you should really focus on what resonates and leave the rest. What we have today are three options you can choose from. The first option is represented by this beautiful rune from the Celtic alphabet. The name of this runic game is Ogham. Okay, so this is option number one for you, and then I'll comment a bit more on the meaning of this rune if you choose this pile. This is option number two. Okay, and this is option number three. Option number one, option number two, option number three. Focus on whatever situation you'd like advice on. And let's go to option number one. So, welcome. For those of you who chose pile number one, this is your reading on should I leave this situation and how, why. Okay, you've chosen the pile represented by the Fern hewn in this beautiful Celtic oracle. Okay, so Fern talks about protection, advancement, determination, and also talks about vigilance. So it brings about a sense of precaution. Okay, but also it's talking about a situation in which, due to your hard work and to your enhanced instincts, you're going to be victorious. Okay, because your determination, your hard work, your daring is going to bring about the changes you aim to achieve, and you are protected, but you need to let your intuition guide you. Okay, so this is not a moment to be carefree, this is a moment to be cautious, and this is the rune you've selected. Now let's see how this relates to your situation and to the reading here. So if you're new to this channel, I normally start or use in a reading somehow these cards from the Timeless Flux Oracle. Okay, this is a circus card, and the circus represents social situations, the masks we wear in order to deal with other people, our personas, more superficial personas, let's say, and the challenges related to them. Let's see what challenge this card's talking about. Okay, this is the bubbles card, and it's talking about, well, the sentence goes, a bubble explodes and there go all of the others. Okay, so what's interesting about this card, it's probably talking, your situation is probably a dream, something you've dreamt with for a while now. Okay, and this card is talking about how dreams are actually meant to be substituted or to take the place one of the other. Okay, dreams are like bubbles. You have lots of dreams in your life, and life, the universe, spirit has a way of substituting old dreams that are no longer serving any kind of higher purpose in your life for better dreams, better situations. Okay, but sometimes we get stuck on whatever our vision was for a certain dream, and it kind of reflects on our expectations, whatever is going on in our life, and this is what I'm seeing for you. Your life, or this situation you're talking about, is not actually that bad if you look at it from a different angle. If you change your perspective when it comes to this situation, you see that your life's not actually, or this situation is not actually as bad or as tragic as you're considering it right now. There's a lot of positive energy related to this situation. It could be because you've learned a lot from it, or maybe because this particular situation or dream has led you to develop other previously unforeseen dreams that are now presenting themselves in the horizon, and that could bring you a lot of joy and a lot of abundance, okay? But you're choosing to look at it from a perspective of, I couldn't get exactly what I wanted. You're grieving a little from the experience of having to let go of this dream. So I would say that for most of you, this situation was something you've been longing for a long time. It was really hard for you to let go of this. I don't see yet the cards telling a definite, saying to you that this is a definite leave it, okay? But I just see as something like, you're not seeing the situation for what it is, or at least this situation has brought you to a place in which you can consider other things, other initiatives, other projects, other relationships that maybe, you needed to go through this in order to have so many other possibilities opened for you right now. And maybe you're not even seeing these possibilities, but let's see what the Oracle of the Goddesses has to tell you. Okay, exactly, you're grieving. There's pain here, okay? From Coticlu, the Mexican goddess. Pain, and then death and rebirth, and the need for play, for joy, okay? So whatever it is you're dealing with right now, what I see is that it's something, and even considering the message from Fern, from the rune you selected, whatever it is you're dealing with right now, it's something that you had to work a lot for. You've invested, even if you didn't actually invest a lot of money, you've invested a lot of yourself, a lot of your emotions, a lot of your beliefs. And for some of you, I see that you've worked really hard in order to bring this dream to fruition. Let me move this a little bit so you can see all of the cards. And now the situation has come to a point in which it needs to change. Part of it is changing, but it's not, I don't see here as a scenario of having to abandon it, but this is something that has already transformed. You've already lost part of what you meant to have when you started this process. So if this is a relationship, because I have nothing here telling me specifically whether this is a relationship or something related to work. I see that this could be many different things for the different people watching this reading, but whatever it is, I see that what you expected to gain, or the place you expected to arrive at once you've started this journey, it has already changed, and you know you're never going to get there. So now it's more about not leaving the situation, but leaving the expectation you had once you started planning, once you started manifesting this situation into your life. Because what's happening is that you're grieving. Okay, I see lots of grief here. And what the cards are trying to tell you is that you really needed to go through this process. Okay, your determination, and also your caution when you think about the lessons you've learned while going through this process. This is what's going to bring victory. Okay, but it's like you are already seeing, or at least you could see victory if you could just let go of your first expectations, okay, of the expectations you had when you started this project, this relationships, this okay, this study course, whatever you're trying to do. This is still going to bring you a lot of abundance, okay? As long as you can accept that things need to change, that this dream is not going to present itself in the form you're considering once you started this journey. And also, for as long as you remember that you need to have more fun when you're projecting, you need to be more flexible. You need to enjoy more of the process than the product. Okay, let's see what the tarot cards are going to tell us about this, because here I have the why and I have the how. Okay, yeah, exactly. So for the why, what I see here is that this process is it was too fast. Everything regarding this situation happened too fast, okay? Maybe it was something that you really wanted, but you didn't have the time to consider it truly. You didn't have the time to consider everything that you needed in order to really make it happen, okay? If we're talking about a work project, this is something that lacked basis. And then because of the interference, I also see a lot of interference from other people, okay? So the rune is also talking about that. You need to be careful, and you weren't, but now you know better. In the beginning, you weren't careful with what other people the contributions of other people when it came to your project, okay? So a lot of people interfering, a lot of people telling you on what to do, and you just wanted to reach this result, and you were a bit inflexible when considering your plans, when considering how things were supposed to go. That's why you're grieving right now. That's why you can't understand right now, or at least you can cope with the fact that things have changed so much from your original perspectives on this project, this relationship, okay? I see that for some of you, there was a person that promised you the world, that promised you healing once you started the relationship, and you really expected that this person was going to be your final life partner, okay? It was going to be a twin flame connection, but you had a very specific notion of what a twin flame connection was, okay? And then this is kind of breaking apart. It is not that it's not a twin flame connection, but only that your beliefs regarding what a twin flame connection is are changing, and they actually need to change. You need to be less rigid when it comes to how you project things, how you try to manifest things in the world. For others of you, I see this work project or study project. You had a very clear and rigid image about how to manifest, okay? But your emotions were not up to the game. You were not prepared. You were not prepared to collaborate. You were not prepared to accept other people's collaborations. And you didn't have clear limits established on what to accept and what not to accept coming from other people. That's why, in the end, right now, looking at your situation, you have something that is so completely different from your perspective, from what you wanted once you started this project or this initiative, this relationship, that it feels like you've lost everything. It feels like you lost your dream, and some of you might be even considering whether you should keep on dreaming, whether dreams are actually a thing. Some of you may be hopeless regarding the whole dreaming and manifesting thing. Okay, I'm not going to believe this kind of thing anymore. But you're very determined. What Spirit's trying to show you is that you need to enjoy the process more. And also that in this situation you're inquiring about, even if things don't look exactly the way you'd like them to look, they could even be better, okay? They could even be better from the first plan, the first set of expectations you had once you started this journey, okay? So I'm going to take another card here from the Timeless Flux Oracle because I just want a piece of advice. Wow. Yeah, I need to tell you the story of both these cards, okay? Both of these cards. First of all, when I say that you're grieving, okay, consider how bubbles go, okay? If you're playing with bubbles, okay, with soap bubbles, sometimes they connect to each other and they share this soap membrane, okay? So imagine that each bubble is a dream. You could have this double soap bubble, okay, sharing a membrane. Have you seen this? Have you played with that when you were a kid? Okay, which means that one dream becomes kind of part of the other, okay? They're sharing some characteristics, and one of them is going to explode, is going to burst, but it doesn't mean that the other dream won't be able to give you satisfaction or to transform into something else. Sometimes we have lots of soap bubbles aggregated into this massive bubble, okay? And this is what kids like to play with. If you're concentrated on the process and on having fun in the process, then you see that from this original idea you had, a lot of different blessings, different opportunities for projects, maybe different insights I hear for some of you, different perspectives and beliefs came into your life. It's like you really needed to have such rigid expectations and to see them burst, to see them explode in your face, in order to start observing that abundance is already in your life. And I know this is because you have the pain card here and also this card here I want to talk about in a bit. I know that this is a hard message to hear. Whatever you're talking about, whatever situation you're considering, it was something that was really close to your heart. It was dear to you, okay? It was something you really thought this could heal your life, whether it would heal your emotional life, your financial life, bring you stability, but you had huge expectations for that. What you need to learn is that you are not wreckage from an abandoned ship, from a shipwreck. You're not just this piece of wood, piece of something we cannot even identify, floating in the ocean, okay? And trying to remember or trying to account for what's left after a tragic disaster, okay? Because this card here is the card of the floating piece of shipwreck, okay? And the sentence goes, after the shipwreck, I am, what is the rest of me, or what rests do I stand for? Okay, so it's like you're seeing yourself as a rest, as the rest of something, not as a complete human being, a full human being that has been renewed by this experience. But of course, this is grief talking. You had big expectations for this situation, whatever it was, and now these expectations have been broken. You're kind of grieving. How are you going to overcome grief? You're going to overcome grief by learning to appreciate the process, being grateful for what's left, but not left in the sense of, okay, I just have to suck it up and I just have to leave with, okay, whatever this tragedy has taught me. No, actually, this experience has made you a better person and opened immense opportunities for you, as I see it here clearly. Okay? And why did you have to go through that? Because you had to learn not to move so fast, to be a bit more careful, a bit more cautious, especially with yourself and with your own limits. Okay? You could still be victorious without ever learning how to enjoy the process and without ever learning how to create a life that's true to your higher purpose. I can even hear you. Spirit's telling me that some of you would go like, okay, but I couldn't care less about that. I just want victory. I just wanted things to go my way. But this is precisely what this situation is trying to show. Don't be so anxious about things that you cannot enjoy the process. And see that even if your plans change and if your expectations are not met, you still have learned a lot of things. How are you going to leave this scenario learning that you can't be so inflexible when it comes to planning, to expecting? You need to be open for anything that's new, any gift the universe may be trying to bring you when it changes your dream. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful, and I'm going to now go to the reading for pile number 2. Okay? If you like this reading, don't forget to like the channel, share some likes. You can share this video with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Okay, if you've chosen pile number 2, this is your reading, and you have selected this beautiful Celtic rune. Okay, this Celtic rune represents an alphabet, and I forgot to tell this for the first for the reading of the first pile, but these all represent trees. Okay, and your tree is Nion or Neon. I don't know how to pronounce that precisely, but it is a tree that talks about the connection between worlds. Okay, between the spiritual world and the physical world. It talks about destiny, it talks about evolution, and it also talks about it is a moment in life in which you can clearly see a connection between whatever is going in your life, whatever is going on in your life, and higher purposes, higher meanings. Okay, so as above, so below. You know the sentence? Let's see how it connects to your situation and whether you should leave it or not, and why. If you're new to this channel, I always use cards from this oracle here, which is, sorry you guys, I got cut, but if you're new to this channel, I was saying that I always use cards from this oracle here, the Timeless Flux Oracle, and this card is from the suit called Beyond. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. It says Beyond in Portuguese, and there's a little speech bubble saying hi. Okay, this is an oracle I've channeled myself, and it is inverted. Let's see what it says. Okay, it's talking about form, because you can see here we have all of these cubes. Okay, they're actually 3D, and the name of this card is the mystery. It says the mystery is what's between the cubes. Okay, so it talks about form. It says that there's actually much more to life than what we can see when we focus on the superficial, when we focus on form, when we focus on appearance alone, okay, or the physical world alone. This is a very spiritual group, very spiritual pile. I can feel it. And what I'm seeing here is that since this is inverted, and I think that is important that this card is inverted here, this situation so far is something that you should leave, and you're here because you're trying to get some confirmation on that. You have a connection to the universe, to the universal forces, to spirit, and you know the situation is not the best for you, because you know whatever it is that brought you here is superficial, is based on appearances alone. Okay, you know that your life path, what you're meant to do here, is deeper than that. I hope that makes sense to you, because it's what I'm hearing. Okay, so you're only here to confirm that your instinct, your intuition is they're right about this situation, and I'm telling you they are. Okay, maybe you've been hearing signs, or maybe I can see that some of you are clairaudient, or maybe well, you could receive messages in your dreams about this situation, like maybe it looks good on the outside and it looks good on paper, like people say, but you're still receiving these messages in dreams, or maybe even when you open a book they seem to have a message for you there, and you don't trust it. You don't trust the situation. It's more superficial. It's less connected to what's true, to your values, to your higher self than it should be, and you want to live it, but you're here to confirm because it looks good on paper. Okay, and I can see that you're very connected, you're a very spiritual person, so you really shouldn't be afraid if you're only looking for confirmation. Let's see what the Oracle of the Goddesses has to say. Okay, as I've said before, people watching this video, if you chose this pile, it means that you're very spiritual. But not only that you're spiritual, that you're connected to the god and goddesses, that you believe that you're very protected, but also into not only protected and unconscious of it, but also in tune and trying to listen to what spirit's trying to tell you. But it also means that you are not the kind of person that that tries to adapt to what others expect from you. Okay, you live according to your own rules, and you normally do not accept that people try to mess up with your own limits and tell you how you should live your life. You're very comfortable in exploring your wild side. You're very comfortable. This is Baba Yaga, and this is the wild woman, the representation for the wild woman. So you see this, there's a lot of fire in this card. You're a person that's moving towards and with your passions, and you have understood that spirit is not trying to it's not trying to convert you into any kind of submission. You really understand that your passions are sacred and that you should follow them. Okay, that whatever you have inside of you needs to be expressed in a healthy way. So I see that this situation you're inquiring about is not exactly in tune with whatever passion, whatever motives of life, whatever brings you happiness, and that you're very aware of what brings you happiness. Okay, your soul is already very, you have gone through a lot, I see here, in order to learn how to be this person who can stand up for him or herself in the world and say, okay, I'm going to defend my own passions. I'm going to defend my right to be who I am and to express my passions, to express my inner self. And you already know that this situation is not for you, but for some reason, and I can see here, I'm going to use the Tarot de Marseille too as a clarifier for why the situation is happening and how you can get rid of it in a more practical aspect. But I can see here that even if you know, this is the card of knowledge, okay? It's Sophia, the card of knowledge. Even if you know with your heart that this situation is not for you, you're still connected to it in a very strong way, because you know that it is important for you to deal with whatever this is and make a strong decision. I mean, it's a situation like, once I'm gone, I will need to be sure never to come back. It's a stepping stone in your spiritual enlightenment, okay? Because I have Irenaeus here, and this is a card for crisis, okay? As you see, we have lots of wings represented here, and wings, for me, they talk about purpose, okay? They talk about the many different pathways. Your purpose, your higher purpose in life can make you experiment, okay? Because sometimes we feel a bit lost. We don't know why some situations are being thrown in our direction. Once we have already decided, we have already configured our life in order to place clear boundaries and to protect our mental stability, our emotional stability, to clearly express our passions. Why do I have to go through another crisis? And why do I have to experiment situations in which I still feel attached to material results? I still can't live as easier as I would like to, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. You still need to learn how to balance things better, okay? Maybe because you're such a passionate person and because you are not afraid of showing the world your wild side. There are some situations in which you kind of lose the perspective, the higher perspective. You focus on details and you can become quite compulsive, I see. So why is it important for you to abandon this situation? You already know that it's not for you, but it's still attached because it is still hard for you. Even if you're high up the ladder in spiritual development, even if you're highly in tune with what Spirit's trying to tell you, there's still one more step to go, okay? You're very close to your liberation, but you still need to learn how to be more balanced. There's something about this situation that that kind of makes you compulsive. You simply cannot stop doing it, okay? I see that for some of you, it is an addiction or something that brings back addictive patterns from a previous version of yourself, okay? It could be like, for some of you, you have already organized your life in order to express in your work, in your family. I see that a lot of you are already married, or at least comfortable in being single, in a comfortable relationship. You feel like this love life is sorted out, work life is sorted out. You just want to explore more and to see life as this adventure, okay? But there are still some patterns, some compulsive patterns that are in your way right now. And this could be like something as simple as you're still smoking. Maybe that's why you're here. You know it's not good for you, but you're kind of asking, should I really quit? I know that some people like smoke throughout their lives and nothing happens, and you're kind of holding on to it. But something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be smoking or any kind of drug. It could be, I see compulsive behavior here. It could even be a project that brings this kind of compulsive behavior forward for you. Okay, so that's why you need to leave this situation. It's like the last spiritual chord. If you're unsure on whether you can move on, you can find balance, then this is a confirmation that you can actually find balance out of this situation. Okay, and that it would be good for you to leave it, because what I have here as a how to step away from this situation is you will need to transform yourself completely. This is actually going to be death for you, not of course in the sense of physical death, but in the sense of a spiritual death that is going to bring rebirth. But death is in reverse, and I consider this to be really important here because it's talking about a process of a transformation that you can actually control. This is going to be hard for you. This is going to bring about a crisis, but this is actually for your enlightenment. It is for you to see that you can actually be balanced. I'm hearing also that for some of you, this could be related to beliefs. Maybe you have a certain belief system around your profession or your occupation, what you're doing right now in life, that kind of condones with compulsive behavior. So you could be an artist, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, and you know that in this environment, in the context of these occupations, compulsive behavior is most of the times overlooked. Okay, there are a lot of situations in the world in which a workaholism, for example, is not considered to be, it's overlooked. It's not considered to be, or at least not diagnosed as a disease. Okay, so it could be about leaving this situation you've inquired about because you know that it is overstepping your limits. You have clear limits constructed, but you still have this pattern going on. That's kind of the last thing you need to clear up, and you're clinging to it, and it's going to be hard to clear up. You're going to be reborn after you do this change. It's going to be a big change, and it's not going to be easy, but comfort here comes from the fact that at least you're going to be in control. Okay, and because you chose this rune here, let me get it for you. Because you chose Nion or Nion, okay, this is actually talking about your knowledge on the situation. You're only here confirming. You know that whatever you're doing is not adequate, because as above, so below. Consciousness is like a microcosmos inserted in the cosmos itself. Okay, so you know that whatever compulsive behavior you're condoning with is going to, in the end, after some time, accumulate and prevent you from having the full expression of your true self, your true passions. Okay, and you already know that because you've been constructing this true self, this higher self, this full expression of yourself for a long time. Okay, so this is one last step, if I can tell you that. Let me see if I can get, aside from the advice that tells you control your own transformation even if it's hard. Let me see if I can get another piece of advice from the Timeless Flux Oracle. Okay. What I have here as a piece of advice is the universe is sending signs, and I inform myself. Okay, you see that this person reading reading a newspaper, okay? And this newspaper represents the universe. It represents a stance in life, a moment in life in which the signs from the universe are so clear that you can read them as if they were written in the newspaper, as if you received them in a newspaper right at your doorstep. Okay, so this is a card from the work suit. Okay, it says plow here. You see there's a representation of a plow. This is actually work that you can do. I know that you're deeply connected to spirit, deeply connected to the universe. Do not take for granted whatever sign you're reading right now, okay? Because as I said in the beginning of this reading, most of you have been receiving warnings regarding this situation. Something that says that this situation is not for you. This is not the place for you to be. This is not in tune with your higher self. That you should let it go, okay? Since this is an advice on your transformation, okay, this is a piece of advice on your transformation, I would also say that maybe if you're dealing with an addiction, you're going to start receiving, you're going to start noticing synchronicities. Maybe someone telling you about this clinic, this method that you can use to stop smoking, or maybe there's already some book in your house right now, or a person in your circle of friends that can help you leave this obsessive path. If we're talking about a relationship in which this obsessive path is occurring, then maybe you already have an excuse to leave this relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, a work relationship. Maybe you have already received this this help from the universe in the form of a situation. It could be a trip, it could be some time that you're going to spend away from this person, I don't know, or even money that you can spend on yourself instead of spending in the relationship. What I'm telling you is that the universe is actually sending you gifts, signs, news that are trying to help you get rid of this situation, okay? And this change is something that may seem drastic and it's going to be difficult, but you know you have to do it, and you're going to be in control. As apart from it, the universe is also helping you in very concrete ways. So your work represented here is to listen to what the universe is trying to say, and the universe could be trying to communicate to you in the form of people, opportunities. Try to spend some days a week, I'm hearing, just paying attention to people, paying attention to emails, paying attention to connections and books, and anything that could help you leave this situation, because the universe has got your back. You're very protected and you've earned it, because what I see here is a situation in which you've struggled a lot to reach this point in your life in which this is the only thing left, okay? Whatever you're thinking about, this is the only thing left for you to leave, or for you to abandon, for you to stop fighting, okay, and let go, before you can experience abundance and waves of fulfillment. This is what I'm hearing. The universe is really trying to help you, so listen carefully, okay? I hope this reading has helped, and if you like the video, do not forget to like, share, comment, and also to subscribe to the channel, since I'm new here, we're starting, so that we can keep up with the good work, okay? Luck with your situation, and I'm moving to pile number 3. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading on should I leave this situation with extra cards for how and why. If you have chosen this rune, then this is the reading for you. Okay, this is a Celtic rune. This is a very old alphabet, and each letter represents a tree. This tree here is Tinne. Okay, and Tinne is talking about victory, it's talking about justice, it's talking about transformation, and it's also talking about the just cause. Okay, it's talking about the middle path. Okay, so it's compromise of some sort, but it's not compromise in the sense of the best I can get, but it's talking about a third path. Okay, this is the third path that will open. It will open for you, as long as you keep in mind that you need to be fair, that you need to focus on justice and balance, and on understanding the worth of your effort. Okay, it is about putting yourself out there in the world and making the world your place. Okay, so I can see right from the start that maybe this situation you're inquiring is not the best situation for you, but I don't know if you should leave it or if it's going to transform itself. Let's take a look. Okay, but I'm telling you that because the rune is talking about a third path, and I can clearly see that for you there is another option that you're not yet considering. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to start with a card from the Timeless Flux Oracle, which is an oracle I've channeled myself, and this card here is talking about the lightning bolt, which is normally an insight that comes in a very concrete form from spirit, because there's something confounding us. We feel a little bit lost, and spirit decides to shake things up a bit in the form of a very concrete insight, so that we can see the situation we have needs to change. So let's see what it is for you. Okay, for you, right from the top, it is you should actually leave this situation. Okay, because what I have here, and I think that you can realize it only by looking at the picture. I'm going to get it closer so that you can analyze it. This is the serpent road. Okay, so what we have here is a road, a very human road, filled with you see there's a house here, a crosswalk, a lamppost, and it seems very civilized and normal, but at the end it ends at the mouth of the serpent, and it has this little tongue here that I find amusing. Okay, this is the serpent road, and the sentence goes, is it a path or escape route? You know, but you don't believe. So when this card shows up, it means that whatever you're inquiring about, it's escape mechanism. And probably you already know it. Maybe you're not totally aware of it, but it's starting to come your way. Because normally when it shows up like that, it means that there has been an insight sign, something that has happened in this situation, showing you that, or pointing out to you that this is not the way to go, that you're escaping. Okay, so this could be about, for example, a work situation in which you're very happy, you think there's nothing wrong, and at a certain point someone, your colleague, just tell you, okay, but what are you doing here if you're so talented doing this other thing? And then it kind of gets to your nerves. Why is this person telling me something like that? This person has nothing to do with my life, but it awakens something inside of you, and then you consider the situation under this light here. Is it a path or escape route? You know, but you don't believe. Okay, and you insist on moving on, but this kind of insight, like a person saying something, or maybe something happens at your job, your actions. This could be about a relationship. Okay, I'm only giving an example, and so far the readings for pile 1 and for pile 2 have not revealed specific situations if the situations people are inquiring are related to work or to love, so you could be talking about many different things. Let's see if the other cards are going to reveal a bit more about the scope of your life you're inquiring about. But no matter the situation you're asking about, no matter which situation you're asking about, it is a false path. Okay, this is escape mechanism. Now let's get into that. Okay, with okay, this is also important for you. I have lots of goddesses. They all wanted to talk to you about this situation. While I was shuffling the cards, they all came to talk to you. So let's see what they have to tell you. Okay, lots and lots of goddesses. Most the other piles only had 3 of them, and you have 6. Okay, so aren't you a lucky person? Okay, so what I see here is that whatever you're inquiring about started as something truly inspired. Okay, it really rekindled your inspiration. I see that you're a truly inspired person, but this situation, whether it be related to love, and I don't see any indication. For some of you it could be about a relationship, but it could also be about your own presentation in the world. It could be about a profession, in an occupation in which you have to show yourself more. Okay, I'm also saying that because it's related to the Rune message, saying that you should put yourself out there and fight for what's fair, but you have more options than you are considering right now. Okay, but whatever it is, it sounded really good from the start, and it rekindled your talents. You thought that this was a good option for you, and then it's also started getting into your head because it's something that makes you feel powerful. Okay, whatever you're doing, whatever you're asking here about whether you should leave or not, this situation makes you feel powerful. I'm going to move the camera a bit so you can see all of the cards. This situation kind of messes with your idea of status. Okay, this place where you are, this relationship where you are, it has the collateral gain of putting you in a position of power. If it is a relationship, you feel like you're in control, you feel like you can give all the shots. If it's work, then it's a very nice position, etc. Even if you know that this is a false path or escape mechanism. Okay, what I also see here is that you're really afraid of change. This is a trait you have. It's really hard for you to change. It's really hard for you to consider change, not only in situations that started okay and that are related to how powerful you feel, you know, because this could be attractive, this could be really hard to leave. But in general, you're a person who is afraid of changing, and this has to do with indecisiveness. I see that for you it is really hard to make a decision, and precisely because of that, Spirit is always putting you in a position in which you have 2 choices to make. You're at a crossroads, you don't know exactly where to go, because it's like Spirit is trying to show you how to overcome this indecisiveness. Okay, so if you ever wondered about why is it that I am so indecisive, and I'm always faced with these situations, these multiple choices I have to deal with, it is precisely because you need those lessons. Okay, I'm hearing this for most of you, and maybe this situation also involves a choice at some level, but this is not the main point. The main point is that you need at this moment to understand that you have everything it takes to change this situation. And when I say change, I mean that once you leave whatever you're inquiring about, you are going to see a lot of different possibilities opening themselves up for you, okay? You can't see them right now because it's very hard for you to see abundance in your life, to see your own talents, okay? This is Lakshmi, and she talks about abundance. This is something that constrains you a little. You normally wait for things to inspire you, to ignite your fire, and you're a very inspired person, but you have a connection with power play situations, with competition. You wait for things to inspire you, but they need to have certain specific characteristics. If they are not going to put you in a power position, maybe you don't even consider them, okay? And you are normally afraid of changes and very indecisive, okay? So it is hard for you to stand your ground and say, for example, if you got fired, this is not the case, it's only an example, okay? I really don't see you getting fired here. But if you got fired, it would be very hard for you to simply decide starting a business on your own, okay? And I'm telling you that because I'm hearing quite clearly that for some of you, you need to deal with your power issues better. And opening your own business, giving more time to your own creative practices, assigning a specific slots of time for any endeavor, even learning a new language, having this group to practice a hobby. This is very important for you. You need to see that there's more to life than competition, than power play. Okay, this is the only way you're going to see that you yourself, you're enough, and you have everything it takes to create your true path. Okay, you're only here and asking on whether you should abandon this situation or not because you think you need to escape who you are. You don't trust the abundant talents you have. Okay, also, you don't trust love a lot. You need to love yourself more, and you need to invest more in relationships of love, unconditional love. It doesn't mean that you're going to be naive, innocent, and start opening up to anyone that presents itself to you. Let me see what the tarot is going to say. Okay. This is the card for why you need to abandon the situation, and this is the card for how. Okay, so what I see here is the why you have to leave this situation is it because it's draining you. You think that your inspiration comes from power plays. What I see here is the following. You're the kind of person that tells people, you can have even share this with your friend. Okay, I know that I should be more spiritual, but the thing is, I can only find my passion. I can only find true inspiration when I'm met with challenges. So you might go for all of the discourse surrounding how to strategize in your life, and you'd be more open to objective advice than to subjective advice. Maybe even pick a card readings are something new to you. You do not consider yourself a spiritual person, but what the cards are actually telling you is that you have a strong potential for a connection with spirit. The problem is that you're using your mind, like you're spending all of your inspiration into this power place, okay? You're always trying to, and I see you doing that in your situation. For most of you, I think this is a work-related situation, or maybe something related to an academic environment. I see this, I see you in the middle of this situation trying to get on top of things, trying to be right all the time, trying to prove yourself to other people, not in a humble way, not in a service related way, but just trying to prove that you're the best in every situation, not because you're a bad person, but because you truly believe you're operating in this belief system that tells you true inspiration comes from this kind of mind frame. Okay, and what the cards are telling you is that true inspiration comes from recognizing that you are already everything that you need. And if you recognize abundance in your life as it is right now, with no change required, okay, no promotion, no extra recognition, no change whatsoever, if you recognize your true value, if you recognize all of your talents and gifts, then you are going to love yourself and you're going to start planning from a completely different perspective. You are going to be at peace. See the dove here? You're going to be at peace. And that's why you need to leave the situation. You already know, you might be feeling that this situation is not for you, that there's another path for you. And I'm going to ask for clarification on this other path. Okay? Yeah, I see here that whatever you're doing right now is serving other people, in the sense of you're trying to host situations for them. You're acting like this host or hostess, always trying to make everyone happy, and this is your intention. Okay, you're inspired by the fact that when you make everybody happy, maybe at the office, this could be a family situation too, a relationship, if you are always on the top of a game, making people happy, or proving to everyone that you can do whatever they put on you can deal with whatever they put on your plate, you think that this is what truly gets you inspired. But in fact, when you look at your last couple of days, precisely because you're dedicating your energy to this kind of power play, you might have been feeling irritated, annoyed, and feeling like things are a little bit confusing, and that's why you came here to this reading, because maybe you're starting to consider right now that you should leave this situation, precisely because it's a situation in which everything is based on power. This could even be talking about a changing perspective when they say, okay, you should leave the situation, you should leave these beliefs related to being the best, competing for the power, being always right, getting on top of things in the sense of being, proving yourself to be above other people, okay? And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by actually examining all of your activities in terms of whether you're giving or receiving in each of them, okay? How much each person is giving and how much each person is receiving. You're also going to examine whether this situation is balanced in terms of competition, because sometimes when we're so much in the game of competing to be the best, we tend to ignore that every person in the game, or each person in the game, comes from a completely different background. So remember, the rune you've selected was talking about being fair, okay, and being balanced and respecting your effort. I see that for some of you in this situation, you're not judging the people involved fairly. It could be, I see that you don't consider that people in this situation come from different backgrounds. Whether because you have more experience and that's why you seem to be more capable sometimes, or because you're judging yourself too harshly. You lack experience, you need to learn more, and when compared to other people, you seem to be at fault, okay? But I think this is a more complex environment. I think that in this situation, what we have is a scenario in which some people you're trying, you are establishing a hierarchy in terms of people's values, okay? You see yourself like, okay, I'm worth more than this person and this person is worth less than I am. And this is the kind of attitude that's actually bad for you, okay? Because this is unfair to you. You need to consider each person and their contribution to this situation regarding each person's background, okay? So how are you going to leave this situation? By considering yourself, your experiences, and the people involved and their experiences fairly, by seeing each process in this situation as an individual process, as a completely different process, and by understanding that your inspiration is not related to power play only, that this is escape mechanism. I'm going to get another card from the Timeless Flux Oracle. Yeah, you're failing to see that you're this creature here. You're failing to see that you have wings, you can fly to many different places, you can work with many different projects. You don't need this situation. You're actually much more inspired than you think, okay? The sentence in this card goes, I came from the moon, so now what? So it's like, if you recognize your origins, if you recognize your trajectory, your experience, you're going to judge yourself fairly enough, and you'll be able to see different possibilities. You need to stop trying to escape yourself, okay? Trying to prove yourself only through power plays, okay? Your indecisiveness and your fear of change come from the fact that you cannot see all of your amazing properties and talents clearly, okay? I see an issue in self-love here too, but this issue in self-love comes from the fact that you're coming from a perspective of lack. You always see things lacking in your life, and you're trying to compensate for that by entering this power place, by seeing who's better than whom, and how can I get on top, and how can I prove that I'm the best. That's why you're entangled with this situation, but it's not serving you, because you actually have everything it takes. You're enough, and once you realize that, you're going to see many different possibilities, different ways opening themselves up for you. Okay, I hope this reading has helped. If you like the video, do not forget to share, to like, to comment, and of course to subscribe to the channel. We're starting, and all of your support is very important for you, for us, sorry, at this moment. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.